Greetings and bienvenue, it is I, Dark Symphony 777 with another fanfiction review. I want to thank everyone who subscribed to me, all 20 of you right now, for all 20 plus. For all I know, I could become famous. Sorry, my brain went off on a tangent. And I may, in a day or two, I may make a video explaining what happened over Christmas break, but it's 1:20 where I am, and I don't really want to press my chances with my little brother and sister coming in, making a loud noise, generally making a ruckus and causing more setbacks. So, the story I'm going to be reviewing today is called Fusion of Destinies. It's a Metroid / Harry Potter crossover written by Gray X. As always, link to the story will be in the description. Please like, please subscribe, please comment your opinion, because as always, this is what I think of the story. Everyone has opinions on stories. So, what can I say about Fusion of Destinies? It's probably one of the best crossover fanfictions ever, and that's not really saying something because crossovers in general are really hit and miss. It depends on the writer. I mean, if you're good at it, then you got a good crossover, but it's more hit or miss depending on people who read it rather than what's written. So, before we start, we have to put this story in perspective concerning the timeline. Sorry, I'm a little rusty. Please bear with me. Concerning the Harry Potter and the Metroid timelines. Before we start the actual review, let's make it clear. In the Harry Potter timeline, it happens right around Order of the Phoenix, which is year 5. Sorry, there's a cat trying to get in the way. Go away. And in the Metroid timeline, it happens immediately after the events of Metroid Fusion with the X-Parasites and everything like that. Now that we got that settled, let's start the review. So, the plot actually happens not even during the school year, but right before the school year. It has Snape and Hagrid who are wandering around the forest looking for something to happen that caused the centaurs to go in disarray, and they find a blonde-haired, muscle-bound woman. If you're a Metroid fan, you pretty much know who it is. Samus Aran, of course it is. With a ball in her hand, and they bring her to Hogwarts. She has amnesia. She gets offered a job by Dumbledore after she kicks Hagrid, Snape's, Umbridge, and Dumbledore's collective asses all across the school grounds. Especially all of them fermenting. It's why does she have that many muscles? Because she exercises? I don't know. And so she gets offered a job as a groundskeeper. I guess, groundskeeper. Can't remember. It's been a couple months since I last read the story. I read the story multiple times, so it's aside from the minor details, I remember everything that happens. So then it approaches Order of the Phoenix with Dolores Umbridge trying to take over Hogwarts to avoid the fact that Voldemort is alive. And so she's running roughshod of the story. Sam is there, just Sam, because she has amnesia. Just wandering, just doing odd jobs. Everyone wondering, why is she that strong? She doesn't have that many muscles. And of course, Harry, Hermione, and Ron kind of being curious about her. So they find out about it. There's a minor argument where Harry's thinking, oh, you want to know all about me and use advantage. No. Then shit goes down. Mysterious happenings happened at the school. Centaur went missing, a blue monkey baboon thingy is spotted, and most importantly, there's a lot of weird bits and pieces, and mostly revolving around Sam. In between that, Harry finds out there's a recent spell created that allows people to bring in items from any point in history into the modern day, but with the setback of the person most suited to fight them or deal with it is brought with them. They use an example of someone bringing in a nuclear warhead, but bringing in the only person along with it, the only person who can deal with the nuclear warhead. Okay, subtle bit of foreshadowing there. It's a nice bit. And then we get shit done. Space pirates invade. Well, sort of, because when Harry and Samus beat them, they become the X-Parasites. For those of you who don't know who or played, or probably gonna pause the video and play and watch the walkthrough of Metroid Fusion, X-Parasites are actually a member of on the planet SR388, And they were the reason why the Metroids themselves were created. Chozo created the Metroids to deal with the X-parasite population. The X-parasites, they infected a person or an animal, absorbed them through slowly killing them, and then gain the ability to copy them. They're really, really, probably, it makes sense. Metroid Fusion is the darkest game in the whole franchise. So that's kind of dark, really dark. And Harry gets infected. Okay, then they find out that, oh, these things are coming after us. Harry needs to be cured. Samus gets her memory back, and then starts kicking butt along with Harry. Then they find out, oh, the leftover goo from Harry becomes the HPX. No, I'm not joking. The author decides to call it the HPX. They call the Samus Aran clone, X-Parasite clone, the SAX, so it makes sense. And then they get a fight, and then they find out, and then a lot of shenanigans happen with Samus and Harry having to team up, and having to stop the X-Parasite problem. As a plot, it's actually a really structured plot. There's two main arcs. There's the stuff that happens on Hogwarts with them trying to figure out everything and set everything up for the second arc, which has Harry and Samus go into space, see the rebuilt Ceres space station from Metroid Fusion, and Harry and Samus, and then eventually persuading Harry with some tech, like getting like a little energy shield to protect him. And there's a really layered plot. It's an amazing plot. Granted, plug for the sequel. It's not as good as Metroid Fusion Destinies 2, but on its own, it's a phenomenal plot. It's just the only real problem is it has a lot of the ticks and beats of Metroid Fusion, but that's not really a slight against the story. That's just all right. If you played Metroid Fusion, you kind of already know pretty much what's gonna happen. Most of it, because Samus deals with the Harry Potter enemies, and Harry deals with Metroid enemies such as a She-Goth and so on and so forth. And Samus deals with the Hungarian Horntail, the most dangerous beast you ever see. You're the Hungarian Horntail. Say hi. Arr! He's a fat cat. So, as for the plot, continue on. Let's just skip ahead to the Ceres space station. They team up reluctantly because Samus, at this point in Metroid Fusion, she had her confidence shaken because the Galactic Federation betrayed her, because they were the whole reason Metroid Fusion even happened. And so she's kind of shaken to the core. Remember, this doesn't happen a couple months after Metroid Fusion. This happens immediately after Metroid Fusion. This happens at least about an hour or two after the events of Fusion. So she's still kind of shaken up. And so Harry managed to convince Adam, let me go with her. Let me go with her. Yeah, before you miss anything, yes, I know I skipped the whole Chamber of Secrets part where they go into the Chamber of Secrets, fight the Basilisk, and Harry learns how to do like the power shot thing. And of course they get new power. Samus gets new powers. Harry actually gets Samus's powers. Like she gets the ice. She gets the ice. I think either the ice beam or the ice missile. I can't remember. And they team up, they steal with the SAX and the HPX, and eventually the main villain, who is you expect something original, but it was me, Voldemort, despite all evidence to the claim, which is actually kind of a anti-swerve, because personally, this is just a personal thing, I kind of saw the fact that Voldemort was kind of going to be the villain, or at least involved in the story somehow, since the beginning, but Great X written it in such a way that you can't help but have niggling doubts that maybe he's not. Maybe he might not be. But it was him anyway. Spoiler alert. So they eventually say the thing. Again, I can't really say anything about the plot because it's great. It is a sort of a run-of-the-mill adventure story in the same lieu as Metroid Fusion. But there's enough to differentiate yourself to count it as a separate story. It just has a lot of similarities to the game. But still, I would love to see Harry's reaction when he sees the nightmare. Like, sorry, getting off track. So my overall thought of the plot is a very good plot. It's not an amazing plot. It's not an original plot. Again, not as good as the sequel. But overall, it is a very decent plot that's written incredibly well. It's incredibly layered. It's incredibly detailed. But it's not too detailed to distract from the plot and keep the pacing going along just fine. Just fine. Not outstanding, but far from bad. So, character development. This is what I really like. I like how the author managed to squeeze every single development out of every single character, from the minor characters to the major characters. We got plenty of development from Samus. We got plenty of development from Harry. We even got development somewhat from Voldemort, despite he's only there at the end. Every single character is used. Every single character is pushed to the max in this story. Every single character, even like Snape, who only really appears in the first couple of chapters, and is not really, he's really more important in the sequel. I know I keep benching the sequel, but honestly, the sequel is miles better than the first one. But I'll review that eventually. Snape, Hagrid, all the characters are used properly. They all have their moments to shine. There's no bad characters. There's no wrong way to do the characters. It's just, everything is phenomenal. Everything is great. Grammar, I didn't see any grammar errors. This one's more subjective. If you see a grammar error, please leave a comment for it. Pacing and imagery. The imagery is immaculate. I'm not going to make any complaints about the imagery. I'm not going to make any complaints about the pacing. The pacing is pitch perfect. Not quoting the movie. Everything about the pacing makes you want to see it's perfectly timed how it's done. I know I'm not using big words because I am loquacious, but I don't want to be overly loquacious and confuse the hell out of everyone. But everything is layered in a way that makes sense. You're expecting it to go this way, and it does go that way, but it's done in a way that, okay, it's written very well. The pacing is immaculate. All the fight scenes, especially the Voldemort versus Samus fight, is done incredibly well. It's paced perfectly. I have nothing wrong with the pacing, nothing wrong with the imagery. Actually, I have nothing wrong with any of the other ones. There's literally nothing, except, again, the similarities between Metroid Fusion, which is not even a valid complaint. It's just more coincidence thing. Connection genre and emotional investment. Connection genre is an adventure / sci-fi, which is kind of par for the course when you're mixing Harry Potter and Metroid. But I don't really have anything bad to say about that. Emotional investment, you can easily get invested in the story because it's just so immaculately written that it sucks you in, it pulls you in. It's literally like you're watching a movie. Like, you see everything play out, you see everything written to an iota of near perfection. And you can't help but be invested in the characters, be invested in the scenery, be invested in the writing style, characters, plot, everything you can eat. It's so easily invested into that you just get sucked in. When I first read this story, I literally my mom spent like 10 minutes actually yelling at me for doing something, but I was too busy reading the story because I was that invested in it. And I was like, what? She said, why are you ignoring me? I said, I was reading. Don't read anymore. Yeah, I love reading. I get, easily get invested in the story. Now, favorite parts, would I recommend this, and final thoughts. Favorite part actually is not a fight scene. It's not any of that. It's actually Voldemort's speech before him and Samus fight. I thought it was... I'm just going to bring up the prime... Okay, I think it's the prime villain. I think it's chapter... Hold on. I'm trying to find... Oh, no, chapter 22. I wanted to spend most of the time actually quoting the speech because I thought it's a very well done speech, and I thought, again, going back to the plot and character development. First, when I first read the story, I thought it's Voldemort. It's obviously Voldemort. But as the story kept going along, it kept adding all these intricate things. I swear to God, I may not be alone at this, but I'm pretty sure everyone had, by the end, that niggling doubt. Maybe it's really not Voldemort. Okay. I'm trying to find. I'm having a cat lick me. Alright, so basically Voldemort, it describes how he did everything. And everything makes a lot of sense. He didn't want the Death Eaters to know about it. He didn't want anyone to know, and he wanted to keep everyone guessing. Well, that and he had the Death Eaters attack because he felt like it. Because they're dicks. He wanted to dupe everyone, so he figured, well, use a technological, all these technological stuff, which is not Voldemort's forte. He wants to get rid of technology to dupe everyone into thinking it's not him, which is amazing. The whole scene before the fight was probably the best part. Was personally my favorite part of the story because it wraps up everything that Voldemort's planned in a way that makes complete sense about why he would do it and fit his character at the same time. He didn't want everyone to know. He wanted to try it out. He really just wanted to test it. Probably the letter. Especially, I also like the joke that before they fight, Samus decides to compare Voldemort to Mother Brain, saying, "She is one of the mother. That's enough. I need a legitimacy to see what you're trying to do, Samus. Very clever. Trying to wound me up before a fight can even start. My words, Samus, it won't work. I didn't achieve all that I had in my lifetime by pulling prey to my passions." Yeah, but just the speech sums up the entire story in like one giant conversation. How everything was written perfectly and such pinpoint accuracy. I can't fault the story. Would I recommend it? I would recommend it. Even if you're not a fan of either franchises, go read the story because it's just a damn good read. Final thoughts. Honestly, where's Fusion of Destinies 3? I know you're working on, I think, a Cinderella superhero crossover. I mean, I know this is kind of awkward, but I just want to. I'm gonna check, but I know he's like the crud. Fanfiction. Oops, fiction. Oopsie, forgot him. Okay, so Grey X. Okay. What's the latest story? Oh no, it's the newest story is a Sailor Moon X-Men crossover. Okay. Oh, the one I was thinking was below it. Was just Cinderella X-Men. Grey X has some weird ideas, but somehow he or she always makes them work. I'm currently reading a Bones something Filari. I have no idea how to pronounce that properly. I'll probably do a review on that story when I finish it. But until then, that's it. There's really nothing to say. This has been Dark Symphony